This is the Paleozoic era.
The Ordovician period was from 492 to 435. The climate was very hot due to high CO2 levels. The marine waters were assumed to be around 45 degrees Celsius. Over time, climate became much cooler and the ocean temperature became comparable to those of present-day equatorial waters.
Plants. They originated from sea plants, and the examples were algae, sponges, coral, and fungi.
Forms of life. During this period, the first quad-like animal appeared. Aquatic arthropods were also formed in these epochs and were one of the first ocean animals to appear on land.
Organisms that appeared during this period were cryptolites, triglyphites, brachiopods, and the conodonts, which were early vertebrates. Red and green algae, primitive fish, cephalopods, corals, crenatoids, and gastropods.
Organisms extinct. 26% of all marine nautiloids, corals, and eel-like conodonts were extinct.
Geography. Paleozoic ocean covered almost the entire northern hemisphere. North America was submerged under epicontinental. Tectonic plates were all in motion, volcanic eruptions were extensive, and mountains formed, and the tectonic orogeny belt formed.
The Silurian period was from 443.7 to 416. The climate was much warmer during the middle of the period. New greenhouse phase began, leading to the melting of many large glacial ice sheets, which contributed to a substantial rise in global sea level.
Plants. The plants included coral reefs, hornworts, liverworts, mosses, vascular tissue. An example was Cooksonia, which is the first upright plant.
Animals. The first squid-like animals appeared. Aquatic arthropods and vertebrates were created.
Organisms that appeared during this period were coral reefs, which was a remarkable time, and the evolution of fishes, which include jawless, freshwater, and with jaws, spiders, centipedes, and the earliest fossils of vascular plants.
Organisms extinct. Jawless fishes, brachiopods, planktonics, and graptolites.
Geography. There was high sea levels in the Silurian period. Coral reefs were common. Niagara Falls and Niagara Gorge were products of water erosion. Natural gas, petroleum, 9% of oil and gas, coal and limestones were natural resources.
The Devonian period was from 416 to 359.2. The climate was relatively warm during this period, and it probably lacked any glaciers. Weather was very arid, mostly along the equator where it was the driest. CO2 levels dropped steeply throughout this period. The mid-Devonian cooling temperature was around 5 degrees Celsius.
Plants. Early terrestrial vegetation spread. An example was Zootrophilus and Trimphoites. By the late period, lymphites and ferns grew.
Living organisms. During this time, insects appeared on land. Invertebrates were formed and fishes grew. By this time period, there were more invertebrates than vertebrates, and many groups of fish appeared throughout the ocean. Therefore, it is called the Age of Fishes. Almost all these fishes had jaws, bony skeletons, and scales on their body. Later on in the period, sharks were formed. Then the vertebrates started to invade the land. Fish started to crawl awkwardly on their fins and slowly became the first amphibians.
The organisms that appeared during this period were cheropods, which were land-living, vertebrates, terrestrial anthropods, including wingless insects, and the earliest arachnids, and the ocean's brachiopods flourished.
Organisms extinct. The reef ecosystems went extinct. 22% of the marine animals and 57% of general land animals went extinct.
The Laplace's Ocean, the Lorena, Baltica continents were present. The Calderon orogeny belt mountain was formed, and there was high sea levels.